It's not about motivation. Winners need discipline. Wake up and win today. Discipline comes from within.
Boxing King Media in association with Riyadh Season. Manager Lee Eaton, we're out here. It feels like we're like in the Bahamas somewhere. I've never been.
That's unreal. I've never been to the Bahamas myself, but it's lovely out here, isn't it?
It is, mate. How's things? You've been here for, in fact, we came on the same flight.
Yeah, nice. It's been all right. Nice and chilled. Obviously, fight weeks are very, especially the last week, tapering down, making weight and stuff like that for Gavin. But yeah, no, it's been nice, mate. Lovely place. Been treated well. So yeah, everything's gone to plan. Looking forward to it. The fun part for Gavin's tomorrow.
It is. Obviously, Gavin Gwynn's manager has got a big fight against Mark Chamberlain. I'm going to come on to him shortly. I just want to speak to you about your experience like in Riyadh compared to, because as a manager, you've travelled the world, you've done shows in America, Dubai, Riyadh, probably missing, you've been all over Europe as well, haven't you? Denmark. So just tell me, how does this compare to other places that you go to?
Yeah, no, listen, it's unbelievable out here. Obviously, I've been to Japan, Mexico, Germany, Denmark, in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, everything. Like obviously out here, it's just everything about it. It's just big night fields, and everything's done properly. They treat the fighters well. They treat the teams well. So listen, you can't moan. So I'm looking forward to, obviously, fight week's been quite, with ground of rivals was good. Obviously, press conference and public workout and that all looked like big events. Made the fighters feel $1 million. So yeah, no, it's been good.
Good stuff, man. And then just moving on, obviously he has Gavin's representative, a big fight for him. Obviously he's the big underdog, and also we've seen in the press conference, it's been mentioned in the build-up that His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikhi likes Mark Chamberlain. He's picked him to be here. How's that affected you guys? Has it affected you guys?
No, listen, it's more pressure on Mark Chamberlain, isn't it? Listen, they've come out here, they've picked Gavin's, well, they've matched Gavin to come out here and get beat. Listen, we've got other things on our minds. I'm very confident in Gavin's ability. He's the current European champion. Mark Chamberlain's never boxed anybody at Gavin's level. Obviously, Gavin's fought Joe Cordina, James Tennyson, who both went on to win world titles and fought for world titles. They're his only losses. He's fought some unbelievable people. Listen, everyone's going on Gavin's last performance, yeah? You're not as good as always good as your last performance, yeah? It was a terrible performance. He had too long of a camp. He'd done a 20-week camp for that. He was so obsessed with winning that European title and obviously a few delays and stuff like that. He just trained all the way through. He's learnt from his mistakes. He's still got the job done. Listen, we've come out here. He's had the best camp he's ever had. The weight's been unbelievable. He was even eating Kinder Buenos last night, day before away. And listen, not many fighters do that. He woke up, had a coffee, and still made weight. So listen, we're here to do a job. Obviously, Gavin's going to go in there and do the job. I'm pretty confident. Obviously, we don't want to upset His Excellency, but listen, it's boxing, and that's what we come to do. We come to win.
And obviously, if he wins, there's obviously so many other fights out there. One of the guys that's always getting mentioned for Mark is Sam Noakes. Is that obviously, if you beat Mark Chamberlain, would you want to fight Sam Noakes, or do you feel like you might be surpassed that level?
No, listen, Sam's a good friend of mine, and Al Smith's one of my best friends in boxing. His trainer. We're both with the same promoter. If it makes sense financially for both of us, then let's do it. But obviously, Gavin winning this, getting ranked in the top 15 in the WBA. So listen, we'll be looking at any big fights that push him on into the next level. Gavin's dreams to fight for a world title, and listen, that's what we're going to try and do. Obviously, we're all three of the lightweights are promoted by Queensberry. So yeah, listen, even the loser will still go on and probably fight the other ones. Or do you know what I mean? The fights are there to be made. So whatever makes sense financially and career-wise, that's what we'll be looking for. But first things first, we're not overlooking Mark Chamberlain. Mark Chamberlain's an unbelievable fighter. Very good fighter, can punch, very technical, good boxer and stuff like that. But our aim, we know our game plan, we know what we're going to do, and I believe in Gavin, and I believe Gavin comes out victorious.
And how does he come out victor? Do you see a points victory, or do you see maybe him stopping Mark Chamberlain?
Listen, who knows? It's boxing. Listen, I thought Mahara Davies was going to come out and beat Ishmael Barroso. Obviously, he changed tactics on the night, and he unfortunately got stopped in one round. So listen, boxing, anything can happen. I believe all I'm going to predict is that Gavin wins.
Okay. Well, it should be an interesting fight and a great opportunity for both of them. Just away from boxing, Lee, I just want to get your perspective. I've got some questions for you as as a manager in the industry. I think people will be intrigued by him. But before I even speak about that, it's worth mentioning your weight loss. There's so many people who are in the public eye. I know you don't do many interviews, but you're here in the boxing world. That you're on a bit of a weight loss journey. And how's that going for you? And how much have you lost? And what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm still fat, but we're getting there. No, just before Christmas, obviously after Christmas, I just thought, like, do you know what? I was a bit well overweight, literally. I was a fat bastard, simple as that, Slam. But we're on the right track. But I just thought, do you know what? I've literally give up all, like, not drinking, not going out on fight weeks and stuff like that. And I've just been training, doing 5 days a week. I've got a PT who trains me 2-3 times a week. I've just changed, put my energy into other things, and it's made my life a lot clearer with my head. Obviously, I manage a lot of fighters. And obviously, I matchmake for a lot of different companies and stuff like that. Now, obviously, working for Queensbury and stuff like that. So I've got a lot of things going on in my life. So I need a clear head, and I've found that training and eating a little bit healthier and stuff like that is working. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm enjoying it. So it's just going to keep it going, and keep working.
It's good to hear, man. I always like people's weight loss journeys, because the fact that you're saying I'm a fat bastard, sometimes people, because there'll be people in the comments making comments like that, but you don't give a shit. You gotta have thick skin in this game.
I'll give up caring about 3 months into this game. But listen, I don't care what people say. All I care about is what job I do for my fighters and making sure my fighters getting the right treatment, getting the right fights, earning the right money and stuff like that. So that's my main aim. Obviously, just doing right by my fighters. I couldn't give a shit about anyone, what they say or anything. I'm happy in myself. I have a beautiful wife. I have a beautiful family. A beautiful son. I have probably my dream job. I travel all around the world for my job. I'm pretty blessed in life. So a few little comments wouldn't give a shit about me.
I think Tyson Fury says it best. He only cares about the opinions of his immediate family members, is what he said.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, who gives a fuck about all these Tom, Dick and Harrys on social media? Everything wanking into socks in everything, bedrooms and all that. Listen, big up the Twitter.
I'm not sure we could say that in Saudi Arabia.
Big up the Twitter for the trolls. Listen, I don't care. Listen, everyone can have their opinion. Listen, I've got an opinion. You've got an opinion.
Yeah,
everyone's got an opinion.
Yeah.
Listen, if that's what makes them happy, sweet as a nut.
I'm fascinated to know about if you can give us a bit of an insight into a manager. Obviously, people hear these terms: manager, advisor, promoter. So one of the things, I don't know if you can tell me, Lee, what is the difference to your understanding between a manager and an advisor?
Listen, it's depending what, obviously, depending what, if a fighter's already got a manager and advisor comes in. So basically, it's exactly the same job, but obviously sometimes an advisor is side by side with a manager. So obviously, say you're a fighter, you've already got a manager, you need a bit of help to push him into that next level. Someone who's got a better relationship with a promoter, or someone can get him a deal and stuff like that. That's when you bring on someone as like an advisor or a co-management sort of thing. But as a manager, you're there to guide a fighter for his career, for his and hers career. Do you know what I mean? You're there to make sure that they pick the right trainer, they do the right sparring, they live the life properly. And when they like their fights, you pick the right fights. You're making sure they get the right money. They're doing their training properly. They're ready for their fights. They're making weight and stuff like that. So it's just basically you're there to help guide them and be their mentor and to push them on into their career and make them successful.
I think people will be intrigued to know, when you have like all these roles. Say if I'm a fighter, I've got an advisor, manager, trainer, promoter, S&C coach, somebody cooking my meals. Is that all these people getting paid percentages, or is it, does everyone have their own, like, individual negotiation with the fighter?
Yeah, no, listen, obviously, listen, by British Border Control rules, a manager is allowed to take up to 25%. Listen, I've never ever took 25%, and I never will. I have my own deal with my fighters. There is some managers out there that take 25%, and I think it's
If you
disgusting.
take 90.
No, I'd take 24 and off. No, but I think it's disgusting. But obviously, a trainer is 10%. A manager, most managers are 15%. Some are 10%. Some are 20%, and obviously some wrong uns that charge 25%. Listen, obviously, if you go and get someone a multi-million-pound deal, then you have a deal on say, I don't know, say like a Tyson saying he probably has a private deal with his trainer, a manager and stuff like that, and that's what happens in boxing. But obviously by a British Border Control contract, a trainer is meant to get 10% of the purse, and then the manager takes his percentage after the trainer. And stuff like that. So, but with obviously strength and conditioning coaches and that, I think that most are paid like just by fighter, like a private deal and stuff like that. They don't get percentages. Obviously, if you've got a manager and an advisor, maybe the 15% split up 7.5% or 10%, 5%. It's all different. Like it's however the fighter has them deals set up, sort of thing.
What like I can imagine somebody might be sat there thinking, why does a trainer get 10% and a manager can get up to 25%? Because the trainer's in the gym every day. So if you were, because you're a manager, you explain to him why you think potentially manager might be worth more.
Mate, I'll make you right. I'll make them right. I've always said it. Like a trainer, 10%. Sometimes these trainers put multiple hours week in, week out in, and then and when you get some trainers that take 25%, and then a trainer's getting 10%. I don't think it is right. But listen, I don't know why that is, but that's just obviously a British Border Control contract, and that's what obviously most fighters like adhere to. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose it is part of the sport, and a manager is the one that's obviously negotiating and earning them the contracts and stuff like that. So that's why they get more. But I don't believe any fighter should be paying 25% management fee, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's quite fascinating. That so like say when the next fight is coming up, are you always on the lookout for like somebody in the amateurs? And then if you are, do you what are the things you look for? I'm guessing like how many tickets they can sell. That must play a big part, because if they can't sell tickets, then no matter how good they are, does that then cause an issue with regards to how you kind of manage that guy's fighter's career?
Yeah, listen, I'm always on the lookout. I go to amateur tournaments. I speak with amateur gyms, amateur coaches, week in, like day in, day out. And I, to be honest, I give a lot of fighters advice that I don't work with. Do you know what I mean? I have a lot of fighters come to me to help, for advice and help and stuff like that. And I always help anyone. I'm not one of these ones that I want something back of you. If I could help a fighter or a trainer or manager or a promoter or something like that, help promote with a match or something like that, just to help them. Like, listen, this world's about, listen, not just about taking, it's about giving. Do you know what I mean? If I could ever help, I will help. So I'm always on the lookout for good fighters. Obviously, I have quite a good stable at the minute. Obviously, I am looking, like, my main thing now is so obviously look after fighters that have promotional deals and stuff like that. But when you're looking for a fighter, it all depends on what qualities they've got. Some of them have got that star quality. Some of them have got knockout power. Some of them are unreal boxers. Some of them have got big fan bases and stuff like that. So there's no, like, it's not just, oh, he's a big ticket seller, or he can't sell tickets, so I'm not going to work with him. I've got fighters that don't sell tickets, and I've got fighters that sell tickets. It's about the connection with a fighter as well. So sometimes you look at it, you sometimes you'll get a fighter and you won't have that connection, and sometimes it doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? But you've just got to do what you can do for that fighter. As long as you're doing the best for them, it should work.
Well, one things I'm intrigued by is I saw Sonny Edwards put a tweet out earlier. I don't know who he was hinting at, but basically saying there's managers out there that are sitting in first class seats while the fighters are sat in economy fighting for world title fights. So it's quite specific. So I don't know who he's on about. Is he on about you?
Definitely ain't about me. I've never flown business or got on thing for a fight week.
I can
But
confirm that because you were sat in economy
yeah,
with me.
exactly. Let's try and ring him now. Let's try and ring Sonny.
Yeah, but make sure you tell him we're doing an interview in case he blits something that he doesn't want to.
Now. We're on
See if he answers. Um, but whilst we're waiting for him, when it does come to fight negotiations and you got a fighter fighting abroad, how does that work with regards to negotiating? How many, like, are you given a set amount of tickets for like flight tickets, etc.? Is it already in the contract?
So obviously, for in a promotion, if your fighters on the promotional deal, so that promotional deal, so like Gavin, he had fighter plus four. So there was five of us. So I just said to him, "Look, obviously me and you. Who else do you want to come out? Obviously, and he picks obviously his coach, his cutman, and he's got his strength and conditioning coach. Sometimes, obviously, the bigger the fights, world title fights, you get a few more people, and you get a certain amount of days and stuff like that. So. Yeah, this is pretty simple done through contracts, really, promotional deals. But that's part of the negotiating. Obviously, some promoters, if it's a small show, they might say, look, it's fighter plus two, fighter plus three, sort of thing. So it's all about how that's negotiated in the contract.
But we also see some managers and advisors work with certain promoters on a consistent basis. So I know you've got a very good reputation in the industry, and most people speak quite highly of you, Lee. So, like to my understanding, I think you got your fighters scattered everywhere, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got fighters. I've got fighters with obviously Matchroom. I've got fighters with Queensbury, Golden Boy, Wassam Boxing, obviously other places and stuff like. So yeah, listen,
Have you got any boxer?
Huh?
Have you got any boxer?
I haven't got any with Boxer. So not at the minute. I don't know if that will change, but yeah. So listen, I've got fighters with every promoter. I don't have a certain promoter that I just work with. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm working with Queensbury a lot more now because I'm doing them working for with the matchmaking and stuff like that. So obviously, I've got a good relationship with Queensbury. But obviously, I've got fighters. Even the Sheffield show in obviously. In Matchroom Sheffield show, I've got Troy, what's he called? Ishmael Davis fighting Troy Williamson. I've got Nico Levers on there. I've got Laley Buttershee on there, and I've just got Liam Cameron on there. So I've got four on there, which is unusual to have so many fighters on one show. But obviously, it's the area and stuff like that. It just sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Manchester, I've got two fighters on for Matchroom. Obviously, next week I've got Dennis McCann out. Then obviously Japan, I'm going to for the prize fighter. I've got my French guy on now who's fighting Mark Dickinson, and so he's on there. So yeah, I work with all promoters, and I have a good relationship with all of them. But I'm pretty fair in what I do. I'm not one of these greedy bastards that's going to try and get as much money out of them as possible. I just do the best for what I can for the fighter. I'm very fair and things like that. So I think it's just how your reputation is. You know what I mean? So
I've got one for you. You know, if you had like just signed an amateur kid who sells 500 tickets straight away from the off.
yeah.
He's obviously and he's marketable. How do you decide which promoter you're going to go with, and what kind of things would you look for? I'm guessing he's the two main promoters that you speak to at the minute. I'm guessing are Eddie and Frank. So how would you kind of sell that fighter to them, and do you make the ultimate decision as to who he goes with?
No, listen, it's when the fighter's decision. And what people don't realise is a fighter hires the manager to work for them. The fighter is the boss. So if you're telling me I want to go with, like, there's two offers on the table, I want to go with Matchroom, you go with Matchroom. If a fighter says to me, look, what's your advice? I'll tell him this is the plus points, this is the shit points. You know what I mean? So this is what I suggest. What do you want to do? So it's all down to the fighter. The fighter is the boss at the end of the day, and this is what people don't realise. They just think the manager is the boss, but no, the fighter's the boss. And what the fighter really wants is what should happen.
And then if, say, Frank offered more money than Eddie, would you then maybe go back to Eddie and say, well, he's offered this, try and match it?
Everyone goes back and obviously go, look, I've been offered this. Do you want to match it? If not, no problems. Like it's not. It's just standard business, isn't it? If you go and get a contract for something and then someone offers you more money, you're gonna go, look, well, listen, I'm getting this sort of thing. So it's pretty standard business. Long as you don't lie about the offers that you're getting and stuff like that. So, but yeah, no, it's mainly down to the fighter.
Last question I've got for you. So when a promoter has a fight for your fighter, does he come to you and say, right, I've got this much on the table, and then you go to your fighter, I'm assuming?
Yeah, no, that basically is. If they're not signed to that fighter, then obviously a matchmaker or the promoter might ring you and go, listen, obviously, do you want to do this fight for your boy, girl, or whatever? I've got this much on the table. I'll look at it and go, well, no, I think I want more money, or yeah, I'm happy with that. Obviously, we'll make sure that if the fighter's happy with it, if they're happy with the money, the terms, the conditions, everything like that, and then we go from there, really.
And last question I've got for you is, you don't have to tell me which fight. In fact, it would be interesting if you could tell us, what's the best deal that you've closed, the one that you've been most proud of, whether it was a signing, sponsorship, whatever, that you've gone back and thought, fucking yes, I got it over the line?
Listen, there's been a few, to be honest. It's quite hard to name, but obviously the main thing in this game is to provide the best deal for the fighter. So long as that fighter is happy with that deal, then you've done your job.
You're not going to give us a name then?
No.
I feel like you're holding that back. But yeah, that's it really, Lee. Thank you for that little insight. I think, fans will be intrigued. I'm sure there's more I can interrogate you about, but this will end up being a bloody podcast. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Nah, mate. Oh, all good, mate. This ends. Just looking forward to tomorrow.
You happy with me titling this video, I'm Not a Greedy Bastard?
I'm not a greedy bastard. So
Well, we'll go with that. Lee, thank you for your time, man. Cheers.
I got a question for you. Where can discipline take you? Discipline points you towards your goals.